Paul George was ranked as the 14th best small forward in the 2008 college basketball recruiting class, so we're the 13 forwards ranked higher than him now. Well, to start, just in front of him at number 13 is Travis Leslie, coming in at Decatur, Georgia, who committed to play for the Georgia Bulldogs. And he would go on to play 3 years of college basketball at Georgia, improving every single season and being named a second-team All-SEC selection. And this allowed him to be selected in the second round of the 2011 NBA draft by the Clippers, where he was sadly just a complete bust, bouncing around many different leagues and teams and last playing in the Lebanese Basketball League in 2024. And coming in at number 12 is Chris Joseph, coming out of Washington, D.C., who committed to play for Syracuse. And he would go on to play 4 years of college basketball at Syracuse, being extremely good there, being named a first-team All-Big East selection and the Big East Sixth Man of the Year. And this allowed him to be selected in the second round of the 2012 NBA draft by Boston, where he was also just a complete bust in the NBA, only playing 2 seasons and last playing in the Canadian Basketball League in 2021. And at number 11 is Murphy Holloway, coming out of Irmo, South Carolina, who committed to play for Ole Miss. And he was also a very good college basketball player at Ole Miss for 4 seasons, being named a second-team All-SEC selection. Sadly, though, he went undrafted and never played in the NBA, mostly playing overseas, and last played in the Korean Basketball League in 2021. And cracking into the top 10 is Darius Miller, coming in of Marysville, Kentucky, who committed to play for the Kentucky Wildcats. And in his 4 years of college basketball at Kentucky, he was an extremely good player for the Wildcats, as he'd actually be named the SEC Tournament MVP and the SEC Sixth Man of the Year. And this allowed him to be selected in the second round of the 2012 NBA draft by New Orleans, where he was solid at times but never amazing, and last played for the Thunder in 2020. And coming in at number 9 is Travis Relaford, coming in of Mission, Kansas, who committed to play for the Kansas Jayhawks. And in his 4 years of college basketball at Kansas, he improved every single season and became a pretty solid player, being named a Big 12 defensive team and a second-team All-Big 12 selection. And instead of playing in the NBA, he decided to go play overseas, where he last played in Cyprus in 2018 and is now currently an agency representative for shelter insurance companies. And at number 8 is Ray Shipman, coming out of Opelika, Florida, who committed to play for the Florida Gators. And he was just a complete bust in his 2 years of college basketball at Florida, and he now currently works as the director of musculoskeletal service line for the Memorial Healthcare System. And coming in at number 7 is Mookie Jones, coming out of Pisco, New York, who committed to play for Syracuse. And in his 4 years of college basketball at Syracuse, he was solid but never amazing, and now currently works as a basketball coach at a charter high school in New York. And at number 6 is Wesley Witherspoon, coming out of Lilburn, Georgia, who committed to play for Memphis. And in his 4 years of college basketball with the Memphis Tigers, he was solid but just never really that amazing, never making it to the NBA and last playing overseas in Finland in 2014. And cracking into the top 5 is Anthony Jones, coming out of Houston, Texas, who committed to play for Baylor. And he would also go on to play 4 years of college basketball at Baylor, where he was solid but never that great, and now currently works as a copy editor and proofreader. And coming in at number 4 is Jeff Taylor, coming out of Hobbs, New Mexico, who committed to play for Vanderbilt. And in his 4 years of college basketball, he was flat out dominant and arguably the best player in Vanderbilt basketball history. He made the SEC defensive team 3 times and was a first-team All-SEC selection. And this all allowed him to be selected in the second round of the 2012 NBA draft by Charlotte. Sadly, though, he was just a bust in the NBA, only playing 3 seasons with Charlotte and is currently playing in Lithuania. And cracking into the top 3 is Devin Ebanks, coming out of Oakdale, Connecticut, who committed to play for West Virginia. And he was a very solid college basketball player at West Virginia for 2 seasons, which allowed him to be selected in the second round of the 2010 NBA draft by the Lakers. And he played 3 years with the Lakers, not really doing much before beginning to bounce around many different leagues and teams. And now he is currently playing in a Greek basketball league. And coming in at number 2 is Daquan Jones, coming out of Marietta, Georgia, who committed to play for Miami. And in his 4 years of college basketball at Miami, he was solid, but just never really that amazing, going undrafted in the NBA and signing with the Orlando Magic. And he actually did see some NBA playing time and last played in the Philippine Basketball League in 2024. And at number 1 is Alfarquad Aminu, coming in at Norcross, Georgia, who committed to play for Wake Forest. And he was an extremely good and dominant player at Wake Forest for 2 seasons, being named to the second-team All-ACC selection. And he ultimately was selected 8th overall in the 2010 NBA draft by the Clippers. Sadly, though, he was just a complete bust in the NBA, having a long career but never really doing that much and last playing with the Bulls in 2021.